From the Massachusetts Broadcasters Station of the Year, this is Western Mass News at 6 p.m.
Coming up, will Congress impeach President Trump before his time in office is up? We have new details coming out of Capitol Hill.
We are distributing the vaccinations. We need folks to be willing to accept them.
Plus, we're getting answers on phase 1 vaccination efforts happening right here in Western Mass.
And do you know how to spot a scam? A local resident shares the signs after being targeted by one over the phone. You won't want to miss it. Right now on Capitol Hill, flags are flying at half-staff following the death of Capitol Police Officer Brian Sicknick. Good Friday evening, everyone. Welcome to Western Mass News at 6. I'm Chris Pisano.
And I'm Jordyn Jagolinzer. Officer Sicknick died following the injuries sustained at Wednesday's riot on Capitol Hill. Today, House Democrats continue to discuss the possibility of impeaching the president for a second time. In the wake of the deadly chaos at the Capitol, lawmakers could introduce impeachment articles as soon as Monday. That's according to CNN. A simple majority is all that's needed to impeach. If that happens, President Trump would be the only president in U.S. history to be impeached twice.
Democrats in the Congress feel very, very strongly that President Trump must be held accountable.
We can use procedural tools to get articles of impeachment to the floor for a House vote quickly.
It is unclear whether the Senate has the time or the will to convict the president. Meantime, President Trump tweeted that he plans to skip Joe Biden's inauguration.
An emotional experience for the UMass Amherst men's basketball team in Washington, D.C. for a game on Wednesday when the violence broke out.
And Western Mass News reporter Kayla Burton spoke with both players and coaches a short time ago about what they witnessed. She joins us now live in studio with that. Kayla?
Well, Chris and Jordan, the decision was made pretty quickly to bring the team back home, postponing their matchup with George Washington. Members of the UMass men's basketball team were in the nation's capital on Wednesday as the Trump rally was getting underway. Now, they ended up getting right back on the bus due to safety concerns. Head coach Matt McCall tells Western Mass News Trump supporters were surrounding their hotel right when they arrived and didn't hesitate to make noise. This was before things got violent and protesters stormed the Capitol.
Starting with Trump chants to going to talking about the new administration to how it was going to screw up their college careers, and there was several explicitives thrown in there. There was someone had mentioned that there was a racial slur said.
McCall tells us it was around 2:45 in the afternoon when he made the call to athletic director Ryan Bamford and strategized how to get the team out of the area and back home safely.
We didn't want to go through the lobby because some of the protesters were making their way back towards our hotel. There were several of them staying at our hotel. So within about a 15-minute span, everybody packed up. We met on the second floor. We went down a back staircase and it popped us out in this alleyway. We went up the alleyway and the bus was literally right there. So we didn't come in contact with anyone.
Now, McCall says he was beyond speechless and impressed to see his players carry themselves with such poise, not chanting back or responding to the chaos. He says the way they carried themselves is by far beyond any team win on the court. Now, coming up later on Western Mass News tonight, you'll hear from the players themselves and how this experience has impacted them directly. Live in studio, Kayla Burton, Western Mass News.
Kayla, thanks. Turning now to the latest coronavirus numbers in the state over the past 2 weeks. Today, the Massachusetts Department of Public Health reports more than 7,600 new cases of COVID-19. That brings the total number of confirmed cases in the Bay State to more than 400,000. Of those, currently, we estimate to believe 87,000 are active. The state also seeing 74 new deaths. The statewide death toll stands at 12,708.
Western Mass News is getting answers on the COVID-19 vaccine rollout plan as it continues in Massachusetts and around the country.
According to state public health officials, more than 167,000 doses of the vaccine have been administered, but that's less than half of the doses that have been distributed here in the Bay State.
And Western Mass News reporter Audrey Russo joins us live with those details. Audrey?
State health officials today saying that they are asking hospitals to give the remaining doses of the COVID-19 vaccine to certain eligible people. We checked in with a local hospital to see how their vaccine rollout plan has been going. State health officials saying Friday that they're asking healthcare facilities to give out remaining COVID-19 vaccine doses to anyone in a phase 1 category. According to state officials, 167,000 doses have been administered, less than half of the 346,000 that have been shipped. Health officials say it's partially due to a lag in reporting vaccination numbers to the state, but also
We are distributing the vaccinations. We need folks to be willing to accept them.
Chief Medical Officer of Mercy Medical Center, Robert Roos, tells Western Mass News more than 1,500 employees who work with COVID-19 patients have gotten the shot.
We have not had one dose go wasted.
The state will begin the mass vaccination of first responders next week as part of their rollout prioritization plan. On the state's website, first responders rank above hospital workers doing non-COVID care. But Roos tells Western Mass News the state has given the hospital latitude with who is considered COVID-facing.
We have been able to expand out those invitations to other people in the facility who work in healthcare that provide service directly or indirectly to patients. That may not always be COVID, but there's the potential.
Roos says the goal is to ensure all the doses get used in a timely manner for anyone in the hospital who could encounter COVID-19, especially if it's undiagnosed.
The Department of Public Health, I think, is very interested in ensuring that we move through the categories in a sequential manner to the extent that's reasonable. We are all interested and invested in ensuring that vaccine that is available gets into the arms of eligible, appropriate people.
Now, when it comes to vaccinating first responders, Sutters says that next week, police officers, firefighters, ambulance personnel will have more than 100 sites across the state to choose from. Reporting live in Springfield, Audrey Russo for Western Mass News.
For Secretary of Labor, I nominated a good friend and a stand-up guy, Marty Walsh of Boston.
President-elect Joe Biden making it official today, saying that he wants Boston Mayor Marty Walsh to be the next Secretary of Labor. Walsh has served as mayor of Boston since 2014. Prior to that, he was a state representative for a decade and spent time leading Boston's Building and Construction Trades Council.
We are facing hard times, but nobody's tougher than the American worker. And now we have the opportunity to put power back in the hands of working people all across this country.
By serving in the Biden administration, Walsh would be able to avoid a potentially difficult re-election campaign. The 53-year-old is a close friend to President-elect Joe Biden, who swore him in for his second term as mayor in 2018.
New at 6, a Springfield resident wants others to learn from her experience with a scam caller.
She says someone claiming to work for Eversource reached out to her and tried to get her personal information. Western Mass News reporter Pisano and Jordyn checked it out.
They call and they say they're calling from Eversource.
Carolyn Garudi, a Springfield resident, has received multiple calls from someone pretending to be an Eversource representative. She tells Western Mass News the person on the other line says a refund is on the way and that her account number is needed.
And I just say, I'm sorry, I can't get it right now, and why should I? Because if you know I overpaid $50, you should have the information. When do I get my check?
That question is key. Priscilla Ress, the spokesperson from Eversource, tells Western Mass News Eversource would never ask for that kind of information over the phone because they have it on file. And if a refund were due, it would come in the mail.
If you are going to get any sort of a refund or a credit from Eversource, that's going to come to you in the form of a check.
Garudi says she has received multiple calls and they always have a different area code.
All over the country, as well as Massachusetts.
And while the area code may be local, Ress says that is not to be trusted.
Well, it is a 413 area code. I will continue to speak to them. Don't engage in conversation with them. Don't start going down that path of, well, I'll just give them this or give them that. Hang up, call us.
And that number to call Eversource is on our website, westernmassnews.com. For Western Mass News, I'm Priscilla Landaverde.